Louder with Crowder is brought to you in part by .com. You'll look better, but more importantly, you'll feel better. Unless you have COVID, then you'll probably die. .com.
That is refreshing.
Yeah.
That's today I have a little lime seltzer water in there. I already had my coffee.
Really?
And it's just it's almost a little effervescent.
Oh, just like you.
You know what's really nice? Carbonated milk.
What?
I make it myself.
Yeah.
Isn't there like an
Disgusting.
eclair or something like that?
I have no idea. Hey, we have a lot to get to today.
Yeah. That's true.
I'm really excited. So one thing that people have been talking about quite a bit, you know how divisive Trump was?
Yeah.
I've heard divisive, but I don't like it. I'll just
like
say
think it's
divisive.
interchangeable?
Yeah.
Biden is far worse, and I'll lay out the case as to why. We'll also be talking about the president of the Philippines and butt vaccines,
Butt vaccines.
along with the American flag today and its history, because Macy Gray apparently needed some press, but it's going to be a lot of fun. Gerald,
She stumble?
I try to hide it. Boy, that Green Goblin missed an opportunity.
Yes, he did.
I'll get you,
Shame.
Macy Gray.
Could have saved us all.
Willem Dafoe it's like if Christopher Walken were one of those dinosaurs that
Yeah.
you get in a cereal box and you add water, and it's like if you didn't add the water.
Just shriveled up.
He's a Christopher Walken who's been put in a meat dehydrator.
Yeah, it's like if you hit
still
Steve
like it.
Buscemi with a hammer a bunch of times.
Christopher
That's what he
Walken
looked
out
like
of Green
after he
Goblin?
healed.
Yeah, and then like sun dried him like a raisin.
Yeah.
All right.
Why aren't they
confused.
brothers in more
Christopher Walken.
movies?
Well, that's how he got started. He was one of the
work.
California raisins. I'm all right. All right. G. Morgan Jr. Gerald, how are you, sir?
I am well. How are you, sir?
I'm doing pretty well.
Good.
I'm doing pretty well. How are
Why?
you, Cordy? Well, you know what? I just I'm clearing up the nasal thing that I
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, which is nice. I'm still coughing up, blood, but baby steps. Quarter Black, how are you?
I'm offended that you said Christopher Walken and not
He didn't.
Willem Dafoe.
I said
Because you
both.
Green Goblin. You went
I
straight
said
to
Willem
Green-
Dafoe was a Green Goblin.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then you went to Christopher Walken.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with it. Neither one of
I just
them
don't
are
like
your
it.
people.
I just don't like it.
Be more tribal.
You missed the point.
Well, there's a pretty good DJ, what is it, Slim video? I forget.
That's true.
Oh yeah,
That's true.
Fat Boy Slim.
Fat Boy Slim.
Fat Boy Slim. Spike
got the
Jonze
moves.
directed it.
All right, Dave Landau is here, and you have a show coming up.
Yeah, I do. I got a couple. Oh, look at how I'm hungry, and I still look terrible, but I'm starving. I missed breakfast.
Hey, you
sorry.
beautiful.
I'm sorry. I gotta get off track
No,
by
ahoy? Gosh.
by hurting myself.
Yeah, we all.
This weekend you can see me in Buffalo, New York. I also have dates in Des Moines, Iowa, and Columbus, Ohio coming up, and in Minnesota. I
Hey,
guess.
Buffalo might have the first socialist mayor.
Is that true?
Yeah.
That's true.
It's true, happening right now. And she looks about exact. Picture in your mind's eye right now, okay? What a socialist mayor looks like?
Yeah.
Correct.
Really? That unappealing.
Yes, that unappealing. So here, before we get to anything else, what they're talking about in CNN, they're talking about how it's a violation of human rights to require identification for voting.
Oh, dang it.
You know, in the United States, we're trying to entice people with donuts, with lotteries to get the vaccine because, freedom. And in the Philippines, though, their president, Rodrigo Duterte, I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but I don't care because
Duterte.
it's largely an irrelevant country. Manny Pacquiao and stick fighting. What else you got?
Hey, stick thing's cool.
He has taken a different tack, and I hate it because
Yeah,
it's fascist
right.
and it's an abuse of rights, but I love it because we host an entertainment program.
Mamili kayo. Magpabakuna kayo o ipakulong ko kayo sa silda.
Wow.
Sabi ko sa inyo, yung silda dyan sa mga pulis.
He says, I'm telling you, those police
Linis
jails
yan.
are filthy,
Tamad yung pulis,
foul-smelling, and police are lazy and cleaning.
Lahat na ng baho nandoon.
He's honest.
That is where you'll be.
Magpabakuna ka. Otherwise, I will
Here you
order
go.
all the barangay captains to have a tally of the people.
He says you will get vaccinated, otherwise I will order a tally of people who have not been vaccinated.
Pag hindi, yung
I will not inject them with ivermectin, which is intended for pigs.
If not, I will.
There is a national emergency. Kung ayaw mo magpabakuna, ipa-aresto kita. At ang bakuna galing sa puwit mo.
I'll have you arrested, sent to prison, and I'll inject the vaccine in your butt. I love how the president of the Philippines is just immediately admitting the corruption and the low standards of the. Here we complain about the prison industrial complex. We're like, they're staying there too long. He's like, in our prisons, our guards don't do work. They don't show up. There's rape. It's very unclean. So
want to go there.
it's really punishment.
We suck. Very terrible. We have no standards.
We have no standards at all. I mean, really.
CNN's coverage of this was like, well, that's one way to get the job done and make sure people get vaccinated. I'm like,
It's gotta be nice to hear a
a
cell door just closed behind you and a big guy standing there like, yeah, I'm vaccine.
Yeah. I'm vaccine, you be butt.
I think you should get down on your knees.
This seems unfair.
I'll start with you. So, by the way, you can go to crowdershop.com if you want to support this show. Look, Free Speech Matters shirt. And the best way to tune in is it's a live show Monday through Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern. Our final show before the break, before I go to get my chest fillet open for surgery early July, is going to be tomorrow. But we will have, I think, like 5 episodes of pre-taped content, documentaries, and Change My Mind's going up.
And you're seeing Dr. Nick Riviera?
Yes.
Okay.
What's the last day going to be?
It's going to be Thursday, tomorrow, and that's going to be California for Cultural Appropriation Month, because it absolutely should not be a part of the United States.
I thought it broke off and sank into the ocean.
Should be annexed.
No,
yet.
where is Yukon Cornelius when you need him?
I watched 2012.
Just
It
want to
happened.
axe pick him off and queers! Nothing.
It's burning, but surrounded by water that won't put it out.
Can you just leave me Napa? I'll take that.
Yeah, well,
wine.
yeah, you can.
Yeah.
You can take Napa and Folsom Street Fair. Yeah.
You can meet the other.
It's a package. You want to be the world's most powerful genie? Everything that comes with it. You get the Folsom Street Fair.
I don't want
you're also going to have to fight a lot of soccer moms for that property.
A lot of novelty T-shirts. It's 1 o'clock. I ate fruit for dinner. I drank a glass of wine. Don't talk to me until I've had my 2 glasses of wine.
It's 1 o'clock.
And finally, my favorite, just a shirt for Zoloft.
I'm questioning my life decisions.
So this morning on CNN, this is something a lot of people get this wrong where they talk about like cancel culture and they're trying to change this to accountability culture.
Yeah.
Here's what the term cancel culture, I've talked about this. It's not just when someone says something that turns their audience off. For a perfect example of that, there could be no cancel culture with comedians. In other words, with someone like a Louis C.K., someone like a Bill Burr. It doesn't matter because the audience comes to see them. Cancel culture is when you have people in disproportional positions of power who try to force someone out of the limelight because they hold an opinion that isn't even necessarily congruent with the rest of the public. That's the thing. That's what cancel culture is. It's not accountability when the people at CNN, MSNBC are the ones trying to get someone canceled and they happen to be effective, or YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. So
Tubin.
They were talking about just I think it's Jeffrey one hand clapping Tubin. So this morning
Perfected it.
What's that? That's our most esteemed commentator.
He analyzes situations.
Listen, cut his feed. Cut it.
He analyzes situations but can't analyze what to do during a phone call.
Yeah. It's a Zoom call.
I'm sorry. Same.
So this morning on CNN, they were talking about LinManuel Miranda. He's the guy who created Hamilton.
Yeah.
And In the Heights, I guess, is this new film adapted. I don't know if it's adapted from a play. So what happened is there was some outrage. And I think this is silly that there weren't enough Afro-Dominicans, is that the term? Black Dominican Americans in this neighborhood. And they're talking about the guy who, by the way, like a Brian Stelter, I was sure was gay until I found out. Like show tunes, you hear him speak.
That's true.
No, he's just who he be.
Totally
A lot of people
straight.
think Lin-Manuel Miranda is not what he be, but it do.
Yeah.
And they were talking about, in response to the people who were outraged of him not having enough Black Dominicans in the Heights, and this is a serious discussion that took place on America's most trusted news.
They say that free speech is on the line. You're not allowed to say anything, but that's not actually
that's
what's
a straw man.
happening.
Sure.
People are able to speak their mind
course.
and say what they believe. The question is, how is the marketplace going to respond?
Exactly.
How is your audience going to respond? So in the specific case of In the Heights, where people are saying, well, what more do you want, right? You made the founding fathers Black, and now people are still giving you a hard time. The neighborhood that the Heights is about, which is about half a mile from where I live in Harlem, is majority Afro-Dominican. So imagine making a movie about Greenwich, Connecticut with no white actors. People would say, make that make sense.
Or making a play of the Founding Fathers with no white actors.
He
did. He made a play with the Founding Fathers black, and then not enough black people in a Dominican neighborhood. It'd be like having a play that should be about white people historically with no white people. Cell phone much?
Oh yeah. Also, I'd love to hear the phone call. Yeah, I have a hot script, Hollywood. It's all white people in Connecticut.
Yeah.
Hello.
Exactly.
Sounds very interesting.
No, there's no lesbian couple adopting a child. Hello. I'll have to call you back.
They keep hanging up.
Have you seen Bridgerton?
Liz Hyper on line 12.
Yeah, Bridgerton has a black queen. Beauty and the Beast has black people in positions of power at a time when that didn't happen in England.
And by the way, I don't really
here.
care. I mean, I think the rapping is pretty crappy.
Yeah.
But then again, when they're standard bearers, Tekashi 6ix9ine, I don't really think this generation knows a whole lot about hip hop. That being said,
Bars low.
I know I sound like an old man. That's not music. No, it's not. Not only is it not music, it's a buttersoft bitch who snitched and got out of prison due to his asthma and COVID.
That's
I'm
rule number
sorry.
one, man.
Back in our day, you did your time, and Suge Knight dangled you from a third-story balcony. Okay.
Right.
Yep.
Better cash those Ninja Turtles 2 royalty checks. We know how it worked. It's not a world I respect. It's not a generation I respect. You can comment if it irritates you.
And if you don't like that side, go over to Bad Boys Records. Get yourself Life After Death.
Go on.
There you go.
Fine.
Or Death Row. So this is funny to me that she didn't understand. Were you about to say something?
Yeah, I couldn't believe this. I watched this live. I'm so glad we added this to the show this morning because I watched
You were watching it live while I was watching it live?
Yes.
It's like Kevin McAllister and his mom looking at the Christmas tree.
Yeah, pretty much. Except not
with
at all.
hate. Yeah.
So both of us hate this, and Essie Cup's like, oh, of course. Yeah, that's
Or like
totally
the
straw manning.
Challenger.
Like, okay, fine. Here, prove my point for me. One of you say something controversial. Go.
One of you, yeah.
Not one of you is going to say anything remotely controversial. And it's not just, you made a great point, it's gatekeepers.
Yeah.
It's people saying you can't say this, not an audience, not advertisers. It's also disproportionate on your opinion. You can say horrific things if you're a Democrat. Really terrible things about Republicans.
Well, hold on. This isn't that terrible, but I'm going to show you the next. This is, again, where we're talking about appeasing or trying to apologize to the mob. Now, I've always said your words don't define you. Your actions define you. And generally speaking, your words, the way you speak, the way you carry yourself, is a reflection of your character, as are your actions. They should be relatively in line with each other. However, we see this on CNN. And S.C. Cupp, who's sort of like the white Anna Navarro, was like, I was like, I was a Republican on what? Nothing.
Nothing ever.
But take my word, I have credibility. I don't like Donald Trump, and I was a Republican. Really? What did you? I don't know. So anyway, she's the white equivalent, where she just claims she was a Republican, dines on that for years. And they actually show you that it doesn't matter what you do. If you've said naughty words, but they'll forgive violent, felonious actions. Yeah. If you're of the right political persuasion or skin color. This next clip, I'll tell you, Mel Gibson, Michael Vick, blew my mind, but not really.
So the question is, who is your audience, and are you smart enough to know and figure that out?
So who is Mel Gibson's audience?
Well, who's
everyone?
Who's
Braveheart,
I'm
bitch.
certainly not.
No, me neither.
So there's
Mad
a
Max,
question
come on.
about when have people done enough to redeem themselves? And I think that's a very real question, is when is somebody worthy of forgiveness? You take someone, for example, like Michael Vick, did something terrible, was convicted, paid the cost for that, served his time, and then came out and did a tremendous amount of work in supporting animal rights. And when you speak to people in those communities, they say, no, we feel like this was genuine. He really is very remorseful for what he did.
Okay. So here's the deal. Mel Gibson said bad words while drunk.
Yeah.
No one's saying he didn't say bad things while drunk. Most hilarious voicemails ever recorded.
Very funny.
He called the cop sugar tits who was a guy.
How is that not hysterical? But I understand Holocaust denial, bad. I get it. I'm not absolving them of that. However, bad words while drunk, they are saying is more impermissible than a man who drowned and electrocuted dogs alive.
Wow.
Come on.
Come on. Think about that for a second. Oh, he can. Why do you think Michael Vick can be forgiven? And they try to pull the whole, who watches Mel Gibson? Like everyone. Okay, he has done some of the biggest films of all time. It doesn't mean I even love them all.
Right.
But he is a monumentally successful filmmaker. You guys wanted him out. He's not. You guys, for some reason, allowed Michael Vick to be back in the good graces. I don't know if you agree with this. What do you think is worse? Anti-Semitic tirades when calling drunkenly your gold-digging girlfriend and offering her one more chance, mind you, or
One more chance.
or drowning, electrocuting, strangling dogs alive who want nothing more than to be loyal to you. And you let me.
And by the way, Michael Vick didn't walk up to the police station and say, "Officers!" Like he didn't come in and say, "I am doing this. Please forgive me." He said, "Oh crap, I got caught. Now I need to do something to rehab my image." Now he may be genuine now.
Court-ordered redemption, yeah.
Exactly. So that it makes a difference. You didn't turn yourself in.
Right.
You actually got caught and were like, "Oh crap, I'm really sorry." Yeah, you're sorry you got caught.
Okay,
I think redemption is redemption. As horrible as that is, you're allowed to change your life.
Right.
I really do think that.
I
And
agree,
I
but-
think, and same with Mel Gibson. I also think, I don't know what work, though, has Michael Vick been doing with all these animal...
He threw some spray paint on people coming out of TJ Maxx in fur coats.
Oh, that's exciting. Yeah, he volunteered at a kill shelter.
Yes. At that point, like, I'm gonna do it anyway. Might as well get paid.
Yeah.
I got the experiment. Come on, man.
Oh man.
Community service.
I do this all the time.
No, you're totally right, Dave. Like you can be redeemed. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that that this is the pattern for the left. It's somebody who gets caught. Like Jimmy Kimmel didn't go in and say, "Guys, look, I've been doing blackface for a long time and I'm really sorry about it." Somebody put the video back out there and he's like, "Oh crap, I have to respond to this."
Turn
that
the
is a
waterworks
different
on.
situation. You can totally respond and say, "I'm sorry," and mean it. I definitely believe that.
Yeah.
But it's not like these people went out there and did it on their own accord saying, "Gosh, I just evaluated my life.
think
it's bad."
It's very clear that the left will forgive violent action.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Do you think if a white male conservative was burning dogs alive, electrocuting dogs alive? Sorry, I don't want to be hyperbolic. Do you think that they would be forgiven?
Maybe cats.
Jeez. Terrible.
I'm kidding. I love animals.
No,
I like
know.
animals
Of
more than
course.
people.
Yeah,
I mean, if you really want to do a mad, I still enjoy a good Mel Gibson movie.
In other words, they would sooner sooner forgive the man who kills his dog than the one who names his dog Himmler.
What? Mel Gibson?
And you shouldn't do either, to be
Those
clear.
are bad.
So stupid.
I learned that with Little Mr. Gubbles. I learned
Had to
my
put 'em
lesson.
down.
Mel Gibson is insane, though, and that's why I enjoy him.
Yes.
That's simple.
Everyone knows that rant where he's sitting there saying, "You are awful. You have no soul. You have no soul." But then he tries to save face because he's drunk and crazy, and he goes, "But I will give you one more chance." Like, you are not negotiating. That's like Biden with Putin. You're a killer, but, we could go get ourselves a slice.
Yeah, look.
At that diner I went to.
She promised hot tub festivities and didn't live up to it, and the man got mad.
The man got
deserves
mad.
it.
He deserves it.
It's like, what do you want him to do? He came home as Mel Gibson.
right.
Come on, you
So
gonna
this
do
is another
better?
story. IKEA is now under fire for creating. This is one that, look, I don't think it's that bad, but they should have seen this coming.
This is bad.
For creating an African-American themed menu
I
to
thought
honor
4,000
Juneteenth.
divorces.
And this was sent out to some workers in Atlanta from IKEA.
Oh, in Atlanta?
To honor the or at least the Atlanta employees were mad, to honor the perseverance of Black Americans and acknowledge the progress yet to be made. We observe Juneteenth on Saturday, June 19th, 20. And then it says, "Look at our special menu on Saturday, which will include fried chicken, watermelon, mac and cheese, potato salad, collard greens, candied yams, and white hoods." So the black employees were outraged, calling it racist and demeaning, which, look, I think
it's hilarious.
It's
what it
tone
is.
deaf.
Yeah.
That being said, IKEA did apologize, and for the remainder of Pride Month, they'll continue serving their regularly scheduled fare. So, yeah, they're going to, it's just
Okay.
Swedish meatballs.
Yep.
It's just the Swedish chef demanding,
Those
"You lick
white
in my
balls.
version.
Derpy,
Lick in my version. Don't just eat in the cake. Lick the frosting in the tension.
Slurpy, slurpy, derpy.
Just stick to cinnamon rolls, guys. Come on.
In fairness, that menu looks delicious.
It does actually look really
I'm
good.
going to give you the Jabutin vaccine.
Look, you can point me to some racist food, and I'm going to go, I don't know how it's racist because I love it.
Because it looks delicious.
Exactly.
That's what I had on Saturday, on Sunday, Father's Day.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah,
Fried chicken.
me too.
We had watermelon. It's in season. Now, if in the middle of February you're seeking out some watermelon, nothing like perpetuating the original stereotype, but you do you.
You got a problem.
I love February melon.
Yes.
Oh.
I don't even know what that means.
So Clarence, by the way, happy birthday right now. This is something else before we get to the different policies of Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Again, I will argue that Joe Biden has divided America more than any president in record time. And I understand, I'm not saying that Donald Trump was not divisive. but for two very different reasons. But right now, I do want to honor someone, obviously, who deserves it, Clarence Thomas.
Oh,
Happy
Sir
birthday, man.
Justice Clarence Thomas.
Very nice.
Here is by the way, for people who don't know, he's the guy who made that guy, Andrew Breitbart, a conservative. Andrew Breitbart tuned in to try and watch this guy get read the riot act and watch his career. And then he said, they're lynching this guy. You can go and read his book. The trial of Clarence Thomas, specifically Biden's treatment of him, is what led to Andrew Breitbart becoming a conservative. But I believe we have, this is a classic, a clip of Clarence Thomas obliterating former Vice President Joe Biden.
This is a case in which this sleaze, this dirt, was searched for by staffers of members of this committee, was then leaked to the media, and this committee and this body validated it and displayed it at prime time over our entire nation. This is a circus. It's a national disgrace. And from my standpoint, as a black American, as far as I'm concerned, it is a high-tech lynching for uppity blacks who in any way deign to think for themselves.
Quote, we already have a nigger mayor, we don't need any more nigger big shots.
Nigger here, neck.
Now, I just wanted to show you the timeline because it's not like he learned from it.
Just a side by
Why are
side.
you so quiet today, Dave?
I'm just hungry, dude.
Yeah, you're talking about watermelon, fried chicken.
You don't need to push it that hard. You're a grown man.
trouble.
We'll get you something. And I understand he was quoting someone else saying the N-word. I think he said the N-word something like 16 times in the Senate. Quite a few.
What is he, Ethan Klein?
But again, just playing by their own rules, they should be canceled.
Yes, and well, honestly, why I was being so quiet during that is I don't remember that speech that he gave.
Right,
Clarence Thomas.
That was during the confirmation hearing. Yeah,
I remember it happening now, but I was just kind of taken back by it for a minute because I forgot how completely cruel that was.
Yes, yeah, it absolutely was.
But it just shows you how times have changed. If he said anything close to that, I mean, not accidentally like he did in the clip that we have him here, then you would see like canceled immediately, right?
Yeah.
I think Papa John's guy, I think he was quoting somebody. There was another
Yes,
guy who said
he
it
was
as well.
quoting.
He was quoting somebody else and said
he was
the
saying
word.
that it was bad.
And yeah, exactly. He was like, "Hey, this is a bad thing. Don't say this word." And says
like,
the word.
removed.
I hate when people that
Ask me if I've ever quoted anybody saying the N-word. Of course.
Have you ever seen?
Have you seen some of the guests we've had on the show?
Well,
I like
where I
Tupac
have
as
had to
well.
address the things that they've said 20, 30, 40 times.
Right.
I just don't like though when you see somebody in a position of power like that where they're rating the N-word because they feel good, like they want to do
exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what you see. I find that so
He looked
disgusting
for
when
his
it's like, oh boy, I'm going to say it today.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, and
Hey,
it's
guys,
my time. Feel
guys,
it, you
give
know?
me somebody.
Does
say
someone
the
get my
N-word I can
highlighter?
quote. Yeah.
You know what? Make it. I want it to be the pink, blue, and yellow one. I really want to make this just a party on my page.
Yeah. You feel that though when somebody is doing that deliberately.
Right, yeah.
Being able to say, because he could have easily said N-word.
He's trying to get a rise out of him.
Absolutely.
And people don't
Oh,
remember
yeah.
the witch hunt that it was. They tried to bring out every negative stereotype of Clarence Thomas.
course.
That, he went to this porn shop, which turned out wasn't even a porn shop where he could have been when he lived, I believe, in D.C. at that time.
Yeah.
They brought out these. The worst thing that Clarence Thomas did, just to be clear, for people out there who don't know, just like some people aren't familiar with Macy Gray, find out with Gen Z, is he said, "Hey, whose pubic hair is on this Diet Coke can?
Yeah.
That just makes me want to party with Clarence."
Yes.
It's hilarious.
You tell me, do you want to go to a kegger with Clarence Thomas or Sonia Sotomayor?
That's a good thing.
Thomas.
She probably would be offended about it. She'd start an investigation as to who short and curly was on her Zima.
Well, and here we are 30 years later. That would be about as scandalous as a parking ticket.
Right. You would think so.
Yeah.
But no. All right. I want to move on to this really quickly. This is something, we've heard this a lot, right? America is more divided than ever before.
Yeah.
Because of Joe Biden. And by the way, you're out there, you can hit the notification bell because subscriptions don't mean a whole lot. So just hit that ding. It's a live show Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern. I think that it is so woefully misguided, and I understand that it's by design with the media. Look, far be it from me to argue that Donald Trump. Do you have your restless legs syndrome? Can you stop shaking your foot?
Why?
Is it because you're hungry? Because it's like you'd be lifting up your knee and showing me your mild to moderate to severe plaque psoriasis.
Fine.
He keeps shaking his leg. I feel like he's he's morsing
that
someone
better?
a bomb coat.
Sitting spread eagle.
You asked for it.
Honestly, I am more comfortable.
put-
What does that say
wow.
about me?
Wait a minute, I like it a lot.
So they've tried to argue that Donald Trump is the most divisive president ever.
Yeah.
And I would say Joe Biden is more divisive, but for two very, very different reasons. Donald Trump was divisive. Here's the reason why. And this is just my opinion, and then I'll try and substantiate it. All the links are available at lettuscrowder.com. Every single president before, I should say, certainly every single Democratic president before Donald Trump. You can go back to the Bush years and remember how they treated him, but at that point, they still had some semblance of attempting to appear objective. But of course, we know that they weren't. We had 8 years of Barack Obama, where it was nothing but fawning over the president. And of course, at this point, new media started to emerge. Legacy media tried to silence new media. We saw that happening, right? We thought, hey, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, there are no more gatekeepers. And then these huge corporations spent tons of money to silence voices like yours truly, many of you out there. Donald Trump was divisive because he was pointing out what we all knew for a long time, but too many people were afraid to say, including Republicans, that the media was dishonest and that the left were liars, that they were biased, that they were not well-intentioned, and that they were lying about it.
Yeah.
So Donald Trump created a divide in pointing that out. Joe Biden is divisive precisely because he's one of those liars.
Exactly.
And I don't think Joe Biden would be as divisive today had it not been pointed out. In other words, if we went from Barack Obama to Joe Biden, a lot of Americans, right? How many, honest question, comment below. I used to talk about this when the show was syndicated on radio before Donald Trump was ever president. And I said, there are a lot of people out there who think that CNN is my God objective journalism. And they believed it. They believed it until Donald Trump. That's why we don't go after MSNBC, because at least they're honest about where they stand. CNN was exposed. ABC, NBC, CBS, New York Times. Institutions, and the left thinks that's a bad thing, that people have lost their trust in American institutions. Do you mean WAPO? Then sure. Do you mean Snopes? Absolutely. Do you mean Brian Stelter? Okay. Now Biden tries to come back and act as though this is business as usual, and there are a lot of people going, wait, he's palming it. So Donald Trump divisive because he pointed out the lie. Joe Biden is divisive because now he's a part of the lie, and no one believes the lie anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. And so when you have Trump coming in, he basically understood a principle. You don't sacrifice the truth for unity. Doesn't mean you always get everything right, but unity was not his goal. Doing what was right in most of these situations with his policies and what he would say about the media, that was more important than unifying people. You had to point out the hypocrisy.
Right. Yeah. Now, really quickly, let me point out, just to kind of prove my point here, I want you to see how the media treated Donald Trump versus Joe Biden. I know you hear people complaining about it a lot, but I actually want you to believe your lion eyes and lion ears. Here's some of the greatest hits from the objective journalists as it relates to Donald Trump.
Since you're attacking us, can you give us a question? Mr. President-elect.
Go ahead.
Mr. President-elect, since you are attacking our news organization, can you give us a chance?
Your organization
You are
is
attacking
terrible.
our news organization.
Your organization
Can you give us a
is
chance
terrible.
to ask a question, sir?
Go ahead.
Sir, can
Quiet.
you state,
Quiet.
Mr. President-elect,
Go ahead.
can you state
She's asking
categorically,
a question.
Mr.
Don't be rude.
President-elect, can you give us a question?
Don't be
You're
rude.
attacking us. Can you give us a question?
Don't be rude.
Can you
No,
give
I'm
us
not
a
going to give you a
question?
question. I'm not going to give you a question.
Can you state categorically?
You are fake news.
Let's go ahead. CNN's fake news. I don't take
sir,
questions.
if
I
you're
don't
gonna
take
call us
questions
fake
from
news, you can
CNN.
take a question.
CNN is fake news. I don't take questions from CNN. But I'm having a good time.
You had to repeat
Tomorrow
it.
they will say, Donald Trump rants and raves at the press. I'm not ranting and raving. I'm just telling you. You know, you're dishonest people. Go ahead. Should I let him have a little bit more? What do you think, Peter? Peter, should I let him have a little bit more? Sit down. Sit down. We'll get
That was his friend.
man.
I just told him I've got to come over and see the fake news. Let's go.
I miss the guy.
Yeah.
I just told him I got to
So
come
much.
over and see the fake news. Who do you mean? You and you and you and you and you.
Let's go.
I bet your wife.
Whoa.
I can't even believe what
Kind
that
of
office has become now.
I know.
I know.
Oh,
Sad.
Now let's compare this to former Vice President Joe Biden and how the press treats him.
Questions, and as usual, folks, they gave me a list of the people I'm going to call on.
That must be nice.
So, Jonathan, Associated Press.
The perception of you that got you elected as a moral, decent man is the reason why a lot of immigrants are coming to this
that's
country.
the perception of 100% of America.
Yeah.
How do you resolve that tension?
Over the years, over your career, you've already spent a great deal of time at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, except now you're living there and you're president. It's been 4 weeks. What's it like?
Chocolate chip.
Oh, like he just discovered fire. Which, by the way, is also how Joe Biden would react if he saw fire. What do you have a flint and a rock? Huh? What's that device that creates the magical heat? It's a Zippo. Oh!
What are we doing?
That ice cream cone also laid him out for the next 72 hours.
Exactly.
I'm gonna need to take a nap.
Oh my god.
This is turned back into liquid because it's a solid now. It turns into I got the self-lubricating pocket catheter.
Well, I thought this was bad with Barack Obama, right? The media gave him a huge pass, right? Didn't do a whole lot of digging when he was running for president. Didn't do a whole lot when he started to, do his policies and do things that we thought were bad. It's gotten worse under Joe Biden.
Well, it's gotten worse because at least Barack Obama had charisma, right?
Yeah. I mean, he had charisma.
He had charisma, but now they have to make up for that also.
Yeah.
So in other words, with Barack Obama, they would be able to ask him a question, I don't know, about policy, and he could shuck and jive, which, by the way, people should know out there. They tried to accuse Sarah Palin of being racist, and then recently I saw a black commentator saying that Candace Owens was chucking and jiving. And I said, there's no chuck, it's shuck and jive. People were like, oh, that's a gotcha. No, it's a term from slavery. And if you're talking about being a Black Lives Matter activist and supporting critical race theory, you should know what shuck and jive means. It comes from being elusive to the slave masters, usually during corn husking season, and then became common nomenclature in boxing. Like he's pulling the shuck and jive, he's being evasive. Anyways, they would ask Barack Obama a question, he would shuck and jive, not answer, and they'd go, thank you very much, and move on.
Right.
With Joe Biden, because he doesn't have any charm, they have to say, first, before I ask you a question, it's very clear that you are the president near and dear to everyone's heart, and everyone loves you, and you're super, super cool. Now, do you like stuff?
Do you remember where you are?
And this wouldn't be so bad if Donald Trump didn't rip off the Band-Aid, if Donald Trump didn't turn the light on. So, do we blame the man who turned the light on, or do we blame the man who is now shooting the lights back out, or attempting to? And this is something, too, objectively, this is happening around the globe. In my home country of Canada, with Prime Minister Blackface. And then even, I think we have a clip right from Australia. Sky News, and I used to appear on Sky News when we're talking about debates. Not friendly. Here's them talking about former Vice President Joe Biden at the G7 summit. This is across the globe where their toilets flush the other way.
Listen to how CNN is reporting this momentous event.
Joe Biden is stepping onto the world stage for the first time as president, and equal to foreign leaders.
Now, let's go back in time to 2018 and see if those same newsrooms offered the presidency of Donald Trump such light and positive coverage.
Dramatic and deepening G7 divide. Better put, perhaps, as G6
just push him off a ledge.
They're trying to give the illusion that he doesn't have any disputes with any of these international leaders. What do you think of that?
I just think Joe Biden is a lucky person. He has got all the media on his side, or most of the media on his side, particularly CNN, completely at odds with what they did to Trump. So, his popularity surely can only win from this because he's getting so much positive PR through the journalists who are massive fans of him. It's really quite appalling to watch. And what happened to straight news reporting, which doesn't seem to be existent there?
Well, straight news reporting went out of style along with all straight news reporters.
Straight white news reporters. Gone forever.
Now CNN, it's all gay all the time. And the times it's not gay, it's still kind of gay.
A little bit.
Yeah.
The times it's not gay, it's Brian Stelter.
They say.
So, I've never seen Sky News. That is smug.
It is. Well, look,
but he's right.
It is smug. One time when I was on Sky News, the guy I was talking about, why do you? This was in the UK though, not Australia. I don't know if it's. I think they have different networks. He goes, well, I certainly hope that you don't have any firearms where you are. I said, yeah, I do. I have one at my hip right now. Now, why in the world would you have some kind of a firearm on your hip right now? I said, because I don't have the armed security that you have in your building right there with firearms. He's like, oh, I don't have any. Really? You're going to tell me that? You don't have any security there at the news building?
Not at all.
He meant to say I don't have any in front of me. And he goes, well, I hope the safety latch is on. And I said, the hell's that? That's not even a term. Yeah.
And then you undid the safety and were like, catch.
No, it was by Skype. Yeah, but it would have been fun. Catch. Hot potato, too masculine. So,
don't worry, it's not loaded. Oh, wait, it was. So
yeah. I love that Australia can see it, obviously. These guys in Australia looking at going, hey, what the hell?
Well, Australia is really concerned about China. And so Australia right now is actually saying, hey, guys, is anyone keeping an eye on this? Because they really are vulnerable in a lot of ways. They can be exposed. So they haven't been nearly as anti-American as a lot of other nations have. Usually when you meet Australians, they're fun and they're drunks. Now,
it's great.
This is also important. So we should look at the difference in policies when people say Donald Trump was divisive. And they mean personality-wise, I guess, because as far as policies, really there wasn't anything all that divisive. And there shouldn't be, by its very nature, in reducing the size of government. In my opinion, when you intrude into people's lives, like, I don't know, say, shutting down a business or paying people unemployment in perpetuity so that business owners cannot hire them, or lock people at home in place despite skyrocketing suicide, and allow felons back into the street, right, and charge you for trying to protect yourself from felons amid these riots. I would say those are more divisive policies, whereas Donald Trump is like rolling back taxes and regulations. But I want you to hear it from straight from the horse's mouths, I guess. It's a Mr. Ed montage. I don't know. We ran out of space. The media criticizing the most divisive policies of Donald Trump.
Fundamental decision of when a woman needs to make a decision about when she's having children, how many children she's having, under what circumstances she is having them, that those are fundamentally her decisions. President Trump tries to create red herring arguments that don't exist, and he's lying to the American people.
Anna Navarro, what do you think?
I think I'm really sick of this president and everybody who works around him demonizing
I used to be a Republican.
immigrants. It seems like everything they utter is about MS-13. It seems that everything they utter is about maligning the dreamers and immigrants that come here.
Now to our world lead today. A top counterterrorism official in the U.S. is now saying that recent anti-Muslim rhetoric is making his job and the work of his colleagues more difficult. Let's bring in CNN's Jim Sciutto. And Jim, this official specifically referenced anti-Muslim remarks by President Trump.
The Trump White House is canceling race-related training sessions at federal agencies.
Yeah.
This memo says it's come to the president's attention that agencies have spent millions of dollars training government workers
Clarence Thomas
to believe anti-American propaganda. It came to the president's attention. How? You know how.
No, how about you answer how? How about you answer how? I mean, you should have enough room in that Chrome Dome for a couple of answers, for crying out loud.
Or maybe some proof of how.
I think you know how that happened. Really? How? Racism? I don't know. Let me look at my purse. He has a purse.
He does.
It's a merce.
That's
He carries
man
a
bag.
purse.
Yeah, in the James, we can bring that up for later. In the
not a
James O'Keefe
briefcase.
video, that's the thing no one was talking about.
that's
The man
right.
carries a purse.
Yeah.
You don't
Not a
carry a
satchel.
briefcase in the crooks of your elbow.
Looking at him, I would assume he did.
Yeah. Well, let me be really clear about, they were just addressing this, the really divisive policies. Yeah. Donald Trump supported radical measures like heartbeat bills. When a baby has its own heartbeat autonomously from the mother, at that point, it's considered ending a life. He didn't believe that we should be funding abortion overseas, meaning American taxpayers. Look, you may think that you support the right to have an abortion here in the country. You may even think that we should spend some money in we should provide financial aid to nations abroad. I disagree with both of those things. But if we're going to find common ground, can we at least agree that we should not be funding abortions overseas in any capacity? If you can't, then don't tell me it's about the first trimester, second trimester. It's not about that. You think that American taxpayers should be taxed more and we should provide more money to abortions overseas as a method of population control. What else do we have? His racist immigration stance. Legal immigrants, by the way. That's what it is. Legal immigrants coming through the Muslim ban, identified first by Barack Obama. Countries of danger. You know who supported it? Syrian Christians. Refugees who were Christians who made up less than 1% of the migrants coming over during that surge, despite the fact that the rest of them were all Islamic, military-aged men. And you see what happened in Europe. What do we have? Banning diversity training. Critical race theory in the federal government? Okay. Sure, these are the radical policies they're talking about. My point is, there is nothing there. What, reducing our corporate tax rate to just be on par with places like Sweden, Denmark, nations that you guys love and you proclaim as the model of socialist success? That's radical?
Yeah. The only way that this works is if you buy the lie that everything that Donald Trump said was racist. And the only way that that works is if you watch the clip that they want you to watch when it's edited the way they want it to be edited.
Right.
That's the only way any of this works. And everybody had to carry the water. And they did.
And we talk about divisive and radical. Well, let's go through Biden. Biden wants to put our taxes to a level that is unseen in the industrialized world, supports Black Lives Matter, the terrorist organization who on their site demand the destruction of the nuclear family. He said that Antifa is just an idea. He wants to spy on Americans who may be too far right-wing. We did an entire segment on that. That's not hyperbolic, so that they can use the government as a political arm to target you. And of course, not to mention, he supports men who have been men their entire lives and within 1 year beating the shit out of women in sports. And you want to look, Barack Obama, to give you an idea, when we talk about divisive, Barack Obama went into office He was whisked into office opposing gay marriage. Donald Trump was the only president ever elected who had supported gay marriage before he went into office. Whether I agree with him or not doesn't matter right now. If you were to go back to Barack Obama, meaning in 2008, 2009, 2010, I don't remember when he changed his mind, it was for political expediency, and if you were to tell Barack Hussein Obama, hey, by the way, you're going to have to make sure that men with penises and testicles can fight women and compete at the Olympics, he'd say, nah, come on, you're bringing up a straw man with your bullshit.
The 70s were calling. They want their politics back.
Seriously, you think that anti-gay marriage Barack Obama would have a chip to compute 32-year-old men breaking the orbital bones of women in sports? And we act like Donald Trump is radical. So Donald Trump just says, oh, no, I'm not going. No, men compete with men, women compete with women, right? Simple. Yeah. Biden goes, well, however you want to identify, and women should just get used to it, and we have to redraft up Title IX because it was to protect women's sports, but, and there's, no, this is when it is determined by what you think you have to do to be woke, it inevitably becomes radical. This is a party that is politically beholden to Black Lives Matter, Antifa, and Kamala Harris, not to mention Navarro. I don't care how many decades ago she was a Republican.
Well, and if they're doing all this crap publicly, saying all this, making these the issues, what do you think they're doing behind your back? They're trying to screw you, get your money. These are all these.
Yeah, they just
this
want the
nonsense they throw out there to make it seem like they care. That's what it's one of the things I hate about politics.
Yeah, when will it get old, right?
Yeah.
When will it get old when somebody just tells you what you want to hear, but then does something completely different, and you don't have the time to go and look into the matter and see that they did something different? That's what Trump did differently, too. He said, I'm going to do this, and he did it.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you why this is controversial, okay? Especially when, and I don't want to be conspiratorial. The only conspiracy that I hold is whoever's in charge of the photography for John Travolta VHS tapes, because it's always the same picture. I don't think he's ever taken a new headshot, but we'll get to that. That's a whole other segment that we're going to do one day. However, you follow the money trail, and you look at these international...
An entire show.
An entire program. You look at these international corporations, right, for the same reason that they couldn't discuss China.
Yeah.
For the same reason that they couldn't discuss a lot of these foreign issues because of basically them being beholden to foreign financial actors. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Like the World Health Organization not acknowledging Taiwan. I don't think this is a conspiracy when it happens in plain sight, but I am asking you to extrapolate that and apply it a little bit to places like CNN, to places like, Time Warner, to things like Disney, Universal, right? China is a huge market. Okay. When you look at the policies that were most controversial, what most offends the media when they say Donald Trump is divisive is he committed the cardinal sin of enacting policies that put you, the American, first. And I would even say you, the American woman, first, in that you shouldn't have to compete against men. But let's even talk about this on a more geopolitical level. Okay, Donald Trump, what did he do? Force Canada, European nations to pay their fair share in NATO. What was the original agreement? Was it 2%, 3%? They were paying about 0.4%. Sources available at loudofcrowder.com. I'm going by rote right now. He left the Paris Agreement. He left the World Health Organization. Keep in mind, people saying, I can't believe he did that. This was after the World Health Organization said, no, COVID cannot transmit from human to human. They said that we do not advise the travel bans, and they refused to acknowledge Taiwan as anything.
They hung up on the
They acted like Taiwan is this metaphysical concept. Stuff on China, tariffs, brought jobs back. And what did he do? He forced Mexico to stop migrants from coming over the border by levying a tariff. These were the policies that were considered impermissible and divisive. So just be clear. It's not the media versus Donald Trump, and it's not the left versus right. We know that the entire media, with the exception of maybe Fox News and the exception of a few shows like this, right?
Yeah.
But the entire mainstream media, ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, MSNBC, they lean left. It's the media versus you. It's the media versus America first, looking out for the American. And this is how you get to the point where no one would have believed that Donald Trump, a guy raised in the lap of luxury, wealthy his entire life, beautiful penthouses, right? You're talking about beautiful private schools, every opportunity handed to him, somehow seemed more relatable to the working man than someone like Joe Biden, who talks about his boxing gym behind Amy's Diner, which never existed. And the reason for it is just because Donald Trump, look, I think he had a heart for the average American. And guess what? The average American was doing better. White, black, red and yellow. Black and white there, precious in his sight. If you're more offended at the red and yellow in there, you should think about the precious in his sight. Jesus loves the children of the world. But you can go screw yourself. My point here is this is what happened. He believed that Americans should come first since he was the president of the United States of America, and that was impermissible, and so the media attacked, and then they go, look how divided we are. Do you really think you have a former vice president right now who's putting America first? But they don't question him on any of it. Why? They don't want you to be put first. Because that's not in their financial best interest. You were about to say something there, Dave. I thought. No?
I forgot.
Okay. Well, this is also something really important, and I know you're hungry. This is something really important to Biden, of course, former Vice President Joe Biden. You don't have to take my word for it. LeVar Burton, this shit. He's the laughingstock of the rest of the world at this point. We're not more respected. We all know that.
And the President of South Africa. And the President of South Africa, as I said earlier. Oh, you did? I did not. I certainly did. So you get elected twice. So.
但现在呢？现在我们看到拜登上台了，传统的精英，政治精英。
How are your meetings going in Cornwall, Mr. President? How are your meetings going here in Cornwall?
Very well.
Yes, I'm going to play cornhole. Yeah, and that's not even, we don't have video, but I think Angela can bring up the picture of Macron putting his finger in the face of President. Look at this.
Yikes,
Look at this. Like a father scolding a child.
Wow.
Donald Trump would either break that finger off or have somebody else do it afterward.
Excuse me.
Get that French finger out of my face.
It is just, you really think we're more, and this is the point. You can't appease the rest of the world by putting Americans last and expect them to respect you. No nation respects the leader of a nation who doesn't put their own nation first. And what's going on here, Dave?
I'm hungry.
Okay, well, look, if you're that hungry, we have Built Bars here. I've told you, just go.
What do you mean we have Built Bars?
Yeah, just go into the office, get yourself one, come back, hit the reset button.
We've had Built Bars the whole time.
We have. Go get
one. The whole time.
Yes, go get one.
Now.
Yeah, go.
Hey. Oh, hey, Dave.
All right. Well, look,
Jeez,
Built Bar. Hey, by the way, you can go right now to builtbar.com.
Yeah.
Enter
So much better.
Feeling better?
Oh, good.
Enter. We make no claims, by the way.
Did I hurt Manny again?
Dave's an outlier. That's why he was removed from the clinical trial. Go to builtbar.com, Crowder15. You get 15% off. Look, people have asked. I'm not a big believer in supplements.
Yeah.
You don't need to eat protein bars, just to be clear. However, these things taste like actual candy.
They're very good.
So I eat a few of them probably every week just at night so that I don't eat dessert because, I don't eat any more of this. They want me to get down below 230 for the surgery that I have coming up.
Are you close?
And I figured I'd get in the sauna in a sauna suit and sweat it out.
Are you going to cut weight for surgery?
I'm going to cut weight for surgery.
Oh, man.
Gonna get in an Epsom salt bath, chewing on a towel filled with ice chips. So I do recommend. They are delicious. Someone told me you could put the Built Bars in the freezer too.
Oh, really?
And it's like a frozen Snickers. I don't know. The salted caramel just tastes like one of those.
You can also leave them in your car and ruin them.
Yes, that's true.
That happens.
Right.
Super
No,
melty.
I'd say the coconut.
Are you a coconut guy?
Dude, I am with those.
Yeah, I'm not a big coconut guy, but I know people who love coconut, love the coconut Built
Those
Bar.
are the
But those people are freaks. So
are people who say divisive.
Divisive. I know. People have corrected me on that.
It's very divisive.
It also was in Canada, and they put a line
in
through
in an envelope.
Yeah,
an envelope.
Signed, sealed, delivered. By the way, comment on what your opinion here on who was actually more divisive. I want to know objectively if you thought that Donald Trump was more divisive or it was Joe Biden. I think, again, Donald Trump called out the liars. Joe Biden is a liar. Not saying that Donald Trump is an angel. Believe me.
No. We definitely understand that. But look, Joe Biden is a useful idiot right now on the world stage. They want him there. There's a reason that Putin said the guy that has killed people, his job in the KGB was to do that. He said, he's a moral man. Do you think he gives a crap about morality? He is a man that he can manipulate, so of course he would want to keep him exactly where he is.
Yeah.
The world is going to love us as long as we're weak.
Yeah, you can just use him like a wind-up doll.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Look at him. Get former Vice President Biden these symbols and little hat. Huh? What? He's like chimp. He's like chimp.
Come on, man.
Clank, clank.
Yeah, I think the world also hated Churchill. That turned out well for him.
It's true.
Make him ride unicycle.
Yes.
Again?
He fell off right away.
He's not good at riding unicycle. What do we do with him? Send him to Michael Vick. He'll take care of it.
Oh,
Yes.
man.
He's very
Yes. Bed, Bath, and Beyond, just no bed.
You want Michael Vick to drown him in a? We don't have a pool.
No.
Just take kiddie pool, turn him over. He will know how to fix.
They take him to shark jail.
Yes, exactly. By the way, we have a segment here before we leave to Mug Club. The World Health Organization has been watching this show, just so we really
Allegedly.
allegedly.
Yeah.
We
Allegedly.
talked about something yesterday
Yeah.
that we pointed out, and within hours it was changed. And we had the same thing not long ago with the children and COVID. But right now, before we get to that, this was number one trend all over social media here for a little bit of time online, and a lot of people said they didn't know who Macy Gray was, which surprised me.
Oh.
So
Zoomers.
yeah, she wrote an op-ed advocating for a new national flag. And I know people say, why do you care? It's not that Macy Gray said this. It's that a bunch of blue verified checkmarks who are journalists on Twitter were saying, why is this a radical idea? Yeah, but you said a 23% corporate tax was radical. So I don't know. I think changing the emblem of our nation should qualify. So she said that we need a new national flag in honor of Juneteeth. I think we have a clip.
Macy Gray believes it's time for a new flag to represent the United States of America. In an essay shared on the stock market news site MarketWatch, Macy shared her thoughts on why she thinks the current
Career's
flag
going
no
great.
longer represents the U.S. and what it should be replaced with. She starts off her message by saying, quote,
With an ad
President
for
Biden,
Dogecoin.
Madam Harris, and members of the Congress. The American flag has been hijacked as code for a specific belief. God bless those believers, they can have it. Like the Confederate, it is tattered, dated, divisive, and incorrect. It no longer represents democracy and freedom. It no longer represents all of us.
No.
Okay, first off, this is also the problem with very stupid people and people not calling them out as stupid lest they be feared. Let's say for the accusation of racism.
Right.
Let's just say it honestly. She said it is incorrect. Okay, so that's a statement that requires qualification. What is incorrect about the American flag? What is the factual error of the American flag? Are you trying to say
they'd like another star to be DC?
Right?
Yeah.
And she's saying in Puerto Rico.
Well, yeah.
However, that doesn't mean that it's incorrect. It means you're incorrect simply because DC is not a state. Nor Puerto Rico.
No.
So the truth is, when we're speaking factually, you are incorrect, despite obviously the qualifications that must come with writing an op-ed at MarketWatch about the flag. Well, I don't understand. It'd be like Yakov Smirnov going on CNN right now, having a show to talk about criticize jugglers.
Well,
what is happening here in country? We used to have good jugglers. Like, it's just not appropriate. She's writing about the flag at MarketWatch. What are we?
In Russia, balls juggle you.
Balls juggle you.
Yes.
She has an embarrassment of freedom. This is the thing. Like she has so much freedom that she has no idea what it's like in the rest of the world. You're telling me that
she has a lot of time in her hands.
Well, yeah, she does. Travel around the world and ask them what the
I
American
try
flag
to pass
means.
the time and I'm bored.
I'm killing you.
Think about swallowing a sword.
Oh, well, don't do that. But the
stuck in my
American
head.
flag
It's
has.
clear. I got no hit singles coming out of here.
How do I get back to the news? Yeah, I just say.
I haven't had a single in here.
Yeah. By the way, that symbol behind you,
I
that
try to
American
write
flag,
one and I stumble.
I will kill both of you with these hands.
Because I am a drunk, yeah. And I do heroin and methamphetamine. All right. So, you're right. This symbol is hateful.
No, I did not say that. What I was saying that stands for freedom. Name a freer place on the planet. We'll run it up the pole. We'll run that flag up the pole if you can name that place.
I rhyme words and it is not clear.
I have no, it's a good point. Maybe Luxembourg?
No.
Well, shit.
I don't even know what Luxembourg is.
It's basically a fake financial state where people live their
is,
money.
yeah.
It's the only place in the world with a higher average income than the United States, too, because it's basically just a bunch of banks. It's not a real place.
Well, it's like the Caymans with mountains.
So here is the argument. I want you to see the argument that has been made from the left supporting, of course, Macy Gray. It's not that Macy Gray said it. It's that people amplify this, and this goes back to the idea of cancel culture. It's not that one person says this is offensive. It's that a bunch of other people in positions of power deem it offensive enough to get you removed, to take away your livelihood. In this case, it's not that one singer who hasn't had a single in years, which doesn't make her unqualified, mind you. It just means that obviously this is someone who is a useful pawn to the media and they choose which voices and which opinions warrant elevation. For example, if James Woods has an opinion, right? They go, washed up actor James Woods, who just had a #1 show not long ago. And James Woods, you'd be hard pressed to find an actor who people don't respect as an actor. Or Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood, who hasn't had a good film since Sully. Here's Macy Gray.
Yeah.
So that's the point. See what trickery is going on here. So these are some of the arguments that I've heard people making as to why we need to change the flag, and they're silly. They hold no water. One is, well, the flag's been redesigned before. Right, we hear this. This is all over Twitter. We have dozens of designs of the flags at I think you can bring this up, the Collage H, at the Philadelphia Museum.
Oh, no.
Why not now? Okay. I don't know why I should have to explain this, but
we do a lot of
when
that
you're a
this
new
show.
nation, okay, and you're creating a flag, obviously some changes happen. For example, you may not have the same number of stars to represent states when there are no states. So, this is what happened.
Details.
There was eventually an agreement
Details.
on the flag that incorporated stars and stripes, and then eventually stars into states. And here's the thing, too. When we changed them, we changed the number of stars, for example, or the layout of stars to avoid the flag being cluttered, right, aesthetically. It wasn't a change of what the flag represented. Let's be real. There were no monumental changes. There weren't arbitrary changes of colors, of symbolism, of what the flag meant. Like, hey, we had stars up there that represent states. Now they're going to represent Jefferson's horses. That never happened. It's always been the same. And this also matters when people say, well, we added people to the Supreme Court at one point, and they don't talk about the historical context. The historical context here is the flag that we have right now with 50 states is the longest standing flag. It's been there for 61 years. 61 years. And then the last flag right before it, the only difference was 48 stars, 47 years. So really from 240 plus years, the flag has remained virtually unchanged outside of adding stars as we have new states.
Well, the circle.
Right, the circle.
Which I got upset when they changed to the square.
You know, it's one of those things. It's kind of like when they decide with the iPhone to go beveled to no bevel. You're like, what? What's modern? Is it rounded? Is it angular? I don't know. I'm not in the Tron fan club.
Can't have two circles?
Oh.
I'm just saying, I spent a lot of
It's
money.
getting dangerously
Betsy
close
Ross
to the
flag.
male symbol, so we have to avoid it.
I just sewed that thing.
Next thing you know, someone puts an arrow in there and you're in trouble. Macy Gray and the left, they wanted to change colors. They wanted to change the symbolism, reasoning, because, again, the reasoning was the current flag is racist, right? This is something that's pretty important. They're saying we need to change it. We need to change the colors. We need to make it LGBTQ, AAIP inclusive. We need to make sure that it includes Washington, D.C. and Puerto Rico. And this is the issue with things like critical race theory. It's a perfect example. Look, in school, you should learn, hey, when was America discovered? Hey, Declaration of Independence. Hey, what was the Civil War? When was the Emancipation Proclamation signed? Hey, okay, we had slavery. Why did we end slavery? Who opposed the abolition of slavery? What happened throughout the Industrial Revolution, right? These are the things that you should learn. When you start teaching children, none of that stuff is important. Racism, people have no foundation to understand this is why we have the flag. This is why also other nations, be it World War II, be it other nations abroad, for example, being burned alive in cages, Christians in the Middle East, they are scanning the horizon in the hopes that the one beacon of a shining light they could see on the hill is that Stars and Stripes, because it means something to them. That's why more people have died trying to get here than anywhere else. Have you seen the boats some people have tried to make trips from in Cuba? They're not only not seaworthy, they're not even buoyant.
Like car doors and
they're
stuff.
car doors and coolers.
Right. And
some
because
styrofoam.
But to them, here's the thing. The Cuban American immigrant knows more about why America is America than Macy Gray.
Of course.
Like you said, her privilege, her freedom is embarrassing. You can't in the same breath say, hey, it's racist for us to have a wall, to not open up our borders to every single caravan that wants to come here and say, by the way, our flag is a symbol of hate. It's like the Bethlehem Star for these people. And I understand it. And that's why I'm sympathetic to people who want to come to this country, but they have to do it legally. Macy Gray's never thought about this. And more importantly, the senior editors at CNN and MarketWatch and Forbes and Newsweek, it's asinine. But that's why you want critical race theory in schools, because you want the asinine to become normalized.
Mm-hmm. Yes. This is like dating somebody who just you can't make happy.
Right.
You just keep throwing
like dating
stuff
Macy
at 'em.
Gray?
Yeah, like dating Macy Gray. But
you said you were going to get me another mother.
Right, it doesn't matter what you do, though. It's just more and more and more. Every time they get something they want, it's something else that's oppressing them. If you make it so they're not oppressed, then they have nothing to do.
Yeah.
So that's why the second you change something, it's just something else. The flag's like, what do you want us to do to the flag?
If Al Sharpton woke,
there's a rainbow over here. No, I'm just wondering, like, what?
They wanted
go
to be a
on.
Skittles commercial. If Al Sharpton woke up tomorrow, and realized that racism was over, it would be like the first chapter in Left Behind.
Oh yeah.
I woke up today with a job to do, but there don't seem to be no shoes.
What are you saying?
What? It's empty. What do I do?
Well, you're basically useless.
That's been a long time coming.
I want to ask Macy a question. What flag design did the Union soldiers who freed the slaves wear? I don't know. Maybe that one would work for you, because I think it's the same one that's sitting right behind you right now.
No, those people are racist.
Hundreds of thousands of people died.
No. There was a party switch. Just ask Robert Byrd. Just try and sift through all the N-bombs he drops, but you'll find it.
I have the other team's flag all over my truck.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
Also some rollerblades. I thought it was like a Just Married decoration. I don't know.
Just gonna let y'all know, Manny sent over some pictures of the garbage rafts.
Oh, geez. That's terrible.
Yeah, well, I got to see them when I went to Guantanamo Bay.
Well, Stephen, what happened is they got close to the border and they said, have you changed the flag yet?
Yeah,
because if you haven't, we're not coming. We're going back.
Well, they got close, and it was just Macy Gray and a loudspeaker. I want to welcome you. Go back!
They're like, turn around.
We thought she was done. I don't care that they take our saxophone. Anything is better than this.
Please, go back. Go away.
I love Chavez.
They're just like they're sitting there like an ex-lover on Batista's doorstep. Please. Yeah. I know Batista. I know Batista's not. That's an old regime. Shut up. So
how to float away, get eaten by a shark.
But at least it's not a racist shark.
Was it a tiger or Mako? I'm getting esoteric right now. So
America is harder, so you should build gallons of water into a boat.
All right. This has run its course. Much like Macy Gray.
Too far. So I just meant the milk jugs.
So here's another argument that I heard.
I got it. No, hold on. It's important.
Okay.
We can float over. We can float over here for hugs.
Okay, all right.
On a raft made of milk jugs.
Okay,
there you go. See, that's what I was going for.
That's what you were going for.
I was too busy laughing at the one you had just had.
Yeah.
Worth the wait.
Look, I'm not saying it was the best. I'm just saying it works.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's good.
Basically. Buffalo, New York.
Workshop it.
Buffalo, New York. You can see me making Macy Gray jokes.
What's up with Buffalo? I don't know much about your locality.
That joke's why I'm performing in a strip mall.
Just be sure to buy now 2 drinks, yeah, because there is a minimum drink. All right.
Dear Lord, help.
And then Macy Gray just happens to be in the strip mall. She's like, what the fuck? That's copyrighted. I don't have time for this shit. And his manager's like, actually, according to the schedule, you do.
All kinds of time.
A lot of time.
I got nothing but time. So here's another argument that we see from the left. And I saw this all over Twitter. Again, blue check marks, and people are like, oh, yeah, listen, for people who say the flag matters, you don't want to change it, who fly the Trump flag or the thin blue line flag, you've lost a leg to stand on. Okay. Real? Is it? Now, this is an argument that passes for the CNN room or the Stephen Colbert writing. Look, almost always, almost invariably, when you see the Trump flag or the thin blue line flag, it's alongside people who also carry the American flag because they don't deem it offensive, right? It was never meant to replace the American flag. Have you ever seen someone opine that we need to do away with the American flag and replace it with the thin blue line flag? No, not at all. But because they honor the flag, and unlike Macy Gray and the left, who hate America, which is why they say Donald Trump was so divisive, because his policy put America first. Starting to see the thread here, they, of course, will not carry the flag. Look, I challenge you this, okay? First off, the MAGA flag, right, the Trump thing, this is basically a bumper sticker that was turned into a flag. You won't find Donald Trump rallies or official rallies where people are flying that and there isn't an American flag there, okay? Just won't happen. Usually, I want you to try this too. See a truck with the thin blue line flag, or look at houses if they have the thin blue line flag. Count how many of them in your neighborhood and comment below are alongside the American flag. Now, for contrast, I want you to count how many of the rainbow Peter puffing flags are alongside American flags, because that is something I've never understood. If you're going to say that America is this symbol of hate and oppression, okay, how many porches do you think in Iran have the Iranian flag next to the LGBTQ AIP?
0.
Next to the body hanging?
Yes. That's really what it is. So I don't understand it. I mean, I get it. It's because you hate America. Because obviously we could go through this rationally and go, well, it seems to me you could still love the rights and freedoms afforded here in America and love penis.
And by the way, when
they're not mutually exclusive,
when police officers are
that
basically being killed for sitting in their car in the wrong neighborhood, it's kind of okay to say, hey, I want to do something to support you. I'll fly the American flag and the thin blue line.
Oh, you mean like the organizations that Macy Gray supports?
Oh,
Black Lives Matter. Yeah, taking out police officers. Record number of violence against police this last year.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. We understand. Let's let your flag fly. By the way, there is a Black Lives Matter flag and an Antifa flag as well. Okay.
And a gay flag. That's what I mean. These flags do exist. Right. You can put them up. Why do you have to mess with the American flag?
Because they hate the United States of America.
Yes. It's like, just put up the flag you want. Nobody said you couldn't.
Yeah. People are like, this is tribalism. Sure. Look, I'm not a centrist. Drawing a line in the sand. When you say we need to change the American flag because it's racist, sexist, homophobic, and incorrect, I say, no, you are incorrect. That's it.
And it doesn't represent freedom. That's the dumbest part of this argument.
No.
It shows that you've done zero research on the rest of the world.
I wouldn't even call it tribalism. It's just patriotism.
Yeah. At one point, that used to be okay.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Now it's almost like drawing half the Christian fish. You see an American flag, 90% chance they're a conservative. That's the reality.
That's true.
May not like it. It's true. All right.
Plus, you can make your own flag.
Yeah. Well, actually, we have an exclusive look at what Macy Gray's new flag looks like. It's aiming to be as inclusive as possible. I think,
Oh, I like it.
It's basically just the intro to Space Odyssey with corporations.
Corporate sponsorship, man. I hate it.
That's a good thing.
They're in everything.
I know. I'm surprised it wasn't. I'm surprised as well that it wasn't Cools.
I know, but it's still funny. Well, they're taking away menthol. We don't want to endanger anybody.
Right? Yeah.
Even reading one of those labels could kill you, evidently.
It's always funny to me. This is how they do everything wrong. The government. I remember I went into an audition once. Okay. I don't know if people want this little inside baseball, but I went into an audition with one of the most well-known comedy casting agents of our generation.
Yeah.
And she was like, and I've seen some of your stuff that you're more conservative. That's not really common in this. Why is that? I said, well, and this is how I answered exactly. I said, without getting into detail, I tend to believe that individuals, when given the freedom and ability to make their own decisions, do them more effectively, relatively speaking, to bureaucrats in D.C. And that's why I'm a conservative. And she said, oh, well, that's an interesting way. I can understand that. Don't ever say that if you want to work in this industry again. Because most people aren't as tolerant as I am, is what she said. Wow. Anyway.
You meet a lot of people in Hollywood, though, that are closet conservatives.
But the point that I was making there is I said that because I truly believe that the government almost screws everything up, generally speaking. The examples they tried out when they try to say your Social Security check, that's a screw up. I mean, how many times have we had to raid a slush fund?
You know who else believes that, though? That principle that you just basically espouse as Republicans? Democrats. They just believe it with religion.
Right.
They believe that if human beings are generally good when they're unshackled from this oppressive God.
Right. My point with the government here, because we started with cigarettes, and then I got off on a sidetrack, a tangent. Thanks, Dave, and your restless leg syndrome. No, seriously.
It's a disease.
Think about this. The FDA, I think it's the FDA. I don't know who else, the anti-tobacco lobbyists and all this stuff.
Yeah.
They got together, okay? There was a meeting of the minds. The best and the brightest among us. Let's be really clear. And they said, we need to do something about smoking because it seems that cigarette smoke is bad for teenagers. And they said, okay, let's look at the component. This is the government, keep in mind, our best and brightest. They looked at the cigarette. They probably had a little box, moved it around, said, okay, what is a cigarette? Got a whiteboard, wrote it down, okay, right? It's causing harm. What's causing harm? Okay. Well, what is the best thing that we could do to try and curb behavior without infringing on rights? I know. We'll ban the menthol component of the cigarette. That seems to be the primary offender here. Also vape juice.
Yeah, this is
the best and brightest. Put them in charge of your retirement, you dumbasses.
Be more accurate.
The menthol.
It's the same as even I understood when I was young, even though whatever the Joe Camel thing. It's like, look, it's a cartoon. It appeals to kids. I understand menthol cigarettes. There's no reason It's like Spuds MacKenzie, who, by the way, died of a complication of liver failure and HIV.
Sad.
Wow.
That dog got busy.
I thought he just met Michael Vick.
Yeah, no, he was already.
Those were the ones who were really bad fighters. He slow killed them.
That was his early days.
It's okay though. He passed out flyers at the mall.
Spuds MacKenzie's just walking into a Michael Vick party, never walks out.
Hey guys.
no.
Oh hell.
Oh, that's hilarious. And also not.
Right.
I don't even know where I was going with that.
The point you were making earlier about the
I
menthols,
get
there's
rid
no
of at that because you're going, okay, this appeals to kids, whatever. I collected the Marlboro Miles when I was like 14 because I smoked. And I'm like, go and get me a pool table. And it's ridiculous. But
Give me that jacket.
I can understand that, but the taking away menthol is really, I honestly see it as racist.
Really?
Because it's a cigarette that's more commonly smoked by black people. That's
true.
just a fact. And if it's something that somebody enjoys, I'm not saying you should do it, but if you enjoy it, you're an adult, you're able to make that decision that you're allowed to have a cigarette,
Right.
you should be able to have it. That's just my opinion.
Wow. Racist.
I just think I heard Dave. I think I heard him say he's racist.
No,
I don't even think Cool sells non-menthols. Let's be honest.
No,
it's true.
I
Listen,
started on Newports because I was like, come on, quarterback.
of course, more black. Whoa, listen.
we know it.
We know this because you know what else? You have the FDA studies. They also said, hey, we want to reduce children smoking. I understand that. And so they decided to include among cigarettes hand-rolled $8 or $9 cigars, along with like Swisher Sweets, which, by the way, a lot of these are Philly Sweets. They tend to be smoked in, I guess urban communities. It's a cultural thing. This has been around for a while. But when they actually looked at the studies, because some people said, hey, hold on a second, you're talking about mom and pop businesses where a hand-rolled cigar is very expensive. We very much doubt that kids in junior high are purchasing $9, $10, $11, $12 cigars. 0% of children we're starting with hand-rolled cigars. None.
Well, I started with Black and Milds, but
it's a cigarette.
Yeah,
it's a cigarette with a wooden
But
tip.
even with those, of course, they're not using cigars because when they buy a cigar, it's a Swisher Sweet to get wet. Then open it up with a razor blade, dump out the tobacco, fill it with pot, and have yourself a blunt party.
Yeah, unless it's Delta THC8, which is banned.
Well, then you don't want that kind of pot out.
No, you can't have it. Just have this gummy that'll make you see the devil's dick.
Quote. That's a quote.
That's a quote.
You're
That's a
making the
direct
devil
quote.
blush now.
That is a direct quote. Okay.
What if it's not a good dick?
So here is
It's all like angled weird.
Yeah, you're like, wow.
He's got to have something. He's got to have something going for him for anyone to have followed him in the fall.
That's true.
That's true. Yeah.
It's like, I know I'm kind of a jerk. I've mistreated you all, but
I'm beautiful.
Yeah, come on.
All right.
He did bless me with one thing.
I don't want to be getting the butt vaccine. So, for people who are tuning in later, it was the president of the Philippines who threatened his own citizens with a butt vaccine.
That's horrible punishment.
In prison.
So this is something that was brought to my attention yesterday. Gerald, you're going to be fired because you're too much of a liability. And then every time you point something out, and it's linked at louderwithcredit.com as an official source, it changes.
I thought this was
It's like
funny.
Ed Rooney's attendance computer. So yesterday on the show, Gerald mentioned he was looking up something on his phone. And I want to be very, very clear here. None of us are expressing any opinions right now at all because that would be impermissible. And of course, those who are Mug Club members, we'll talk later. On the show, Gerald covered that the WHO, the World Health Organization's vaccine guidance on their own website yesterday at the time of, it was 11 o'clock Eastern,
About
maybe?
11,
11 o'clock yesterday, Gerald pointed out this.
The WHO did come out and say children should not be vaccinated for the moment. This is from their website.
Well, shit.
Yeah.
So, yesterday, by yesterday afternoon, those giant bolded letters, which almost seems like they might be important.
Some would say.
Gone.
Oh.
Gone. Really? We have it available at louderwithcredit.com. We went through Time Machine so you can see the previous day. And today, now it is replaced with non-bold. Children and adolescents tend to have milder disease compared to adults. So unless they are part of a group at higher risk of severe COVID-19, it is less urgent to vaccinate them than older people, those with chronic health conditions, and workers. More evidence is needed on the use of different COVID-19 vaccines for children to be able to make general recommendations on vaccinating children against. Here's the thing. Yesterday, you made a very clear recommendation that they should not be vaccinated. And let's be clear, there have been other national governing health authorities that made it clear that children should not be vaccinated. Now, today, well, not today, yesterday, within hours, they said, we can't make a recommendation. And this is the issue, because we ran into this same issue with the CDC, again, not expressing any opinions. Can you bring up the overlay so I don't get in trouble? Where the original on CDC, when this was said on air, I'm just going to read the CDC. It said the risk of complications for healthy children is higher for flu compared to COVID-19. However, infants and children with underlying medical conditions are at an increased risk for both flu and COVID-19. The key there is the risk of complications for healthy children is higher for flu compared to COVID-19. When that was quoted on air, that was the violation of YouTube guidelines. Not the quote exactly. They said it could be, I think the commentary could be misinterpreted as though COVID isn't dangerous, which is not true. This was on the CDC website. When we brought attention to it, then there's one hard strike later, the CDC changed it to read, for young children, especially children younger than 5 years old, the risks of serious complications is higher for flu compared to COVID-19. However, serious COVID-19 illness resulting in hospitalization and death can even occur in healthy young children. They changed it to minimize, well, we don't really know. But here's what's important. When you go from, hey, don't do X, don't vaccinate children.
Right.
It's not recommended, to, we don't know. What science, if we're talking about science, what science changed in 3 hours? Is there a new study that we don't know about? This is all I'm saying, because I want to be able to trust the scientific process. The scientific process should be, Gerald says something at 11 a.m. Eastern that's bolded on the World Health Organization.
Right.
You just have to sort of, you have to sift through the Taiwan doesn't exist comments.
It's true.
Totally.
You say it, and then within 3 hours they say, oh, well, we don't have any info to make a recommendation. So then either you made a recommendation based on bogus information before, or there's no new information, and now it's a political change. Yep. That is my point. That is why you don't have trust in institutions. It's not Americans' fault. It's yours.
Well, and I think they have to be held accountable. Why did you make the change? So you owe an explanation to us, because I believe that link, that page, those recommendations came out within the last week, maybe 10 days, something like that. If I'm off by a little bit, it's definitely within this month, right? Not long ago. What you asked the question, what changed? Okay, fine.
That's all I want to know.
Now you need to tell us why you thought it was so important to remove what is a very important part of this. The bolded sections tend to draw people's attention on purpose, because this is where you need to focus your attention. Then below it, you explain what the point is. You change that, and then you change the write-up for it. Why?
And here's the issue right now. You are seeing this in real time, because we've talked about this in the past. They switched on asymptomatic carriers. They switched on masks. They switched on double masks. They switched on it being a lab leak. You're experiencing in real time right now people trying to navigate their lives and make decisions based on information that changes arbitrarily. Look, lest you claim I'm an anti-vaxxer, let me be really clear. 97-year-old grandma who's had bronchial issues, I wanted her vaccinated as soon as humanly possible.
Yeah,
okay?
my dad, same.
Why? Because I looked through the information that had been provided, data, and we had a lot of data on older people, and specifically people who may be immunocompromised. And of course, the science seemed to be very clear that any risk is worth the reward for them. Now, we need to be able to make this decision in real time. And before yesterday at 11, according to the World Health Organization, someone would look at it and go, okay, they're saying the science says don't do vaccinations for children, and you make that decision. Then it changes 3 hours later. You're seeing it happen in real time. And then afterwards, they say, if you're against us, you're against science. Did some of you did some of you look at the World Health Organization and maybe cancel vaccinations with your kids? And was that wrong to do? What changed? What information is there? Yep. We know what the recommendations were, and we know they went away. And this happens all the time. And I don't know, I don't want to be, but you mentioned on the show, and then things change. This happens all the time.
I had to look at it like 5 times. I actually tweeted this out, and I was like, I wonder how long this is going to take to be taken down, because I'm sure this is going to go against their policy. Little did they know that, it's like I just took a screenshot of the website.
Yes.
And then somebody pointed out to me, I'll have to give them credit for it. It was just like, I think something changed. And I was like, what? I clicked the link and it was just gone.
Whoops.
Just absolutely gone. Well, that's unbelievable. With no explanation. I want to know who made the phone call. I want to know who made the phone call and said, hey, you need to change this because people are actually taking what we say seriously and they're basing their decisions off of it.
Right.
Please change this really quickly to something vague so they can't do it anymore.
And I'm not even saying at this point, I'm not qualifying either as dishonest.
No.
What I am saying is, I have no idea why there was one statement and it was changed. This is not me just pulling a Jesse Ventura asking questions, just trying to insinuate that there's a conspiracy. I actually want these answers,
right.
And these are answers that only the World Health Organization, that only the CDC, that only people like Fauci can give us.
You're on the grid.
Yes, I'm not off the grid. I'm off the grid because I have about half an acre outside of St. Paul where I have a block filter to avoid fluoride in the tap.
Half an acre.
I'm off the grid on my new television show on Discovery.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you realize you can be more on the grid.
Hey, you were
everything.
what is it?
I was a Navy SEAL.
Were those things or
It was an underwater demolition unit, but it's the same damn thing.
I hunted the predator.
Listen, you know that I'm a real ass kicker. If I still manage to rise to some modicum of fame with my riffraff hairdo, they usually don't let folks like us in the door. I'm just asking questions.
All right, we have to get going to talk about things that we can't talk about here, and we're going to play Hipster or Hobo.
Yeah.
If you're not a member, sign up Mug Club. We have another 45 minutes of show. LetterWithCredit.com/Mug Club. Tomorrow, Cultural Appropriation Month, California. I think we have Michael Knowles on the show, too.
Ooh.
If I'm not mistaken. Or is it Brett Weinstein?
We'll
I don't know.
see.
We have some guests coming up.
Harvey.
And
No,
that's just a still of
That's a
gangrene.
Nope.
That's a joke.
It's a forensic image. Send in your costumes. We'll be taking your costumes tomorrow. California Cultural Appropriation Month. You too, piss off.